So I was doom scrolling on Instagram as one does, and I came across this reel which had the caption, "In my reader era." And that got me thinking, has reading become an identity rather than an activity? I have been a reader my entire life, so my entire life has been my reader era. Hi, I'm Dia, and you guys are watching Dianosa Reads, where I talk about all things books and reading. So, today we are going to talk about something that I have been seeing people talking about recently, and that is, are people on the internet actually reading? So, I'm going to tackle a different aspect of the topic, reading as an identity. What inspired me to make this video in the first place? So recently, Lady of the Library came out with a video, The Death of Deep Thinking. And in there, she was talking about, are people who are like reviewing books on the internet or talking about books on the internet actually reading the books, and performative reading. And so she was talking about, some people faking having read some books. Then there was another video made by Life on Books, who talked about, who like picked up the thread from Lady of the Library. He made his own version of the video talking about why he is not concerned about fake reading or fake readers. He talked about a different aspect of the problem or the topic. I'm going to talk about how habit of reading has evolved throughout the decades, and with the advent of internet, especially short form content creation, uh, how it has changed from an activity that people just partake in to becoming an identity that people have made a part of their personality. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is, to me, what it means to be a reader. So to be a reader, like I've been a reader my entire life. I grew up on stories, and the moment I could, like read words and all that, I started reading. So basically, being a reader means reading books, having fun reading them, but basically, like enjoying the process of reading, of being immersed in a story. And yeah, mostly for me, it is entertainment, but I also learn things, and it is also a space where I can, experience different things and let my emotions loose. So that's what reading meant to me, or used to be my habit before internet. So when I say before internet, I mean before before I got access to internet. So I got access to internet like when I was 15 or 16. After I got internet, I got introduced to Goodreads and ebooks and global reading community. At that time, it was not as huge or as, active as it is now, but still at that time there were a lot of people on Goodreads who used to talk about books, who used to review books, and it was like a whole new world opened up for me, because as a reader, I have always wanted to find other readers so that I can yap about my favorite books. Like that is the dream of every, person who is into reading. It's every reader's dream, is to have someone to talk about books. So when I found Goodreads, I was like, this is the best thing in the world. And I quickly started an account and I started logging all my books. So I got introduced to the term TBR and DNF. Like that was the book community that I was introduced to. That started evolving throughout the years slowly, but then there was a sudden shift during COVID, like when COVID's pandemic started. The like lockdown happened, people were at home, people started reading more, and people had access to TikTok. And they went on TikTok, went on YouTube, went on Instagram, and started talking about the books they were reading. And reading suddenly became this huge thing. And also, thanks to the advent of the genre romantasy, people were more interested in reading than before. And because of all these things happened, like so many things, like converged, and reading became this fashionable thing. When talking about the label of being a reader has existed like since forever. But the way it used to be and the way it is now, there is a drastic shift in there. So when I was growing up, being a reader meant that you were basically a bookworm, and that was not, said as a nice thing. Like, it meant that you were more introverted, you were on the, you know shy side, you did not socialize, you preferred books to people, and you were lame. Basically, that's what the reader label used to be when I was growing up. And I had glasses. So I was the stereotypical bookworm that, people used to portray in movies and series in the early 2000s. Yeah, people used to, like, the vicious ones used to mock me, and the kinder ones used to, like, pity me, because they used to think that reading is such a boring hobby. It's such a solitary hobby and such a lame hobby that I chose it not because I like it, but because I don't have the social skills to mix with other people. Like, I'm not confident enough, I'm not extroverted enough, or I'm not, like, not much of a social butterfly to mix with other people, to go out, have fun, make friends, hang out with them. So I chose books, so I chose reading, so that, that emptiness, that hole in my life could be filled with something. So people used to sort of look down upon readers. And then lockdown happened. People thought, this new genre is coming up, fantasy and romance. So throughout history, at least in India or Kolkata, romance has been the most read genre, even amongst guys. Like, romance is the most sellable genre in books. In Bengali literature, we have, like, these, like, tropes of unrequited love and yearning and all that since Tagore's time. So Tagore has a separate genre for love songs. So yeah, like, romance has been the most read genre in literature, at least in India. So when romantasy boomed, along with the entire world, India also got into reading more. The label of the reader was always there, but now, with the advent of the internet, the label started evolving. So, people, as the community grew, as people found more people who are like them, as I found more people who are into reading the same things, or at least into reading, like, it was very difficult finding a reader when I was growing up. So when I found fellow readers on the internet, no matter what genre they were reading, or what, like, books they were reading, I felt like I have found my people. And the more I got into the community, the more it grew, the more confident I became to be a reader. So we sort of took back the label of reader, of a bookworm, and we sort of, reclaimed that label. And reading became a fashion, reading became a personality trait. And that's how the change happened. So reading used to be a solitary thing, but that gradually changed into this public community thing. And as it happens, whenever other people get involved, things tend to become performative. So, what do I mean by performative reading here? It does not mean faking reading. So, it's more about being aware that you are being seen by others when you are reading. And mm, like compared to doing things alone, when you know that you are being watched by other people, you tend to do things differently. So reading also experience the same thing. And here I'm talking about myself primarily. And what changed was that I was suddenly conscious about what I was reading. I was mostly reading the popular books. I was reading the ones that everyone was talking about. And if I had unpopular opinions, I avoided talking about them. So that's how my reading became performative. As reading became performative for me, I started taking part in online discourse, and I felt that I should be having more critical thoughts about books. Like, I should be thinking about books more critically, more deeply, which is a good thing for me in the long run, because, like, my cognitive processes will improve if I involve my brain more into reading, like, reading between the lines and all that, analyzing stuff, critically thinking about what I'm reading, examining the themes and everything. So I evolved as a reader. I trained myself to read more critically. But why did I do that? Was it because I wanted to get more out of my books, or was it because I wanted to review books online and sound smart and intellectual to other people? So it was mostly, like, sadly, the latter one. I started reading more deeply, started annotating my books and all that, because I wanted to sound and look a certain way, like a reader in this modern world with this modern meaning to this identity. And I wanted to be a part of the group so much that I changed the way I used to read. And it was a gradual process, no doubt. And we all change throughout our lives. Like, our reading habits change a lot. Like, I used to read all the time when I was a kid, then that stopped when I got older, got into college and all that. And now I've started reading more. I'm not saying that you stay the same your entire life. Like, if you read a certain way, if you have certain reading habits, it stays the same your entire life. It will change with time, with experience, as you age, as society changes, as technology changes, you will change as a reader. But yeah, are all the changes for the good, or are some of them hindering my enjoyment? So, am I losing myself in the process of becoming a modern day reader? Now, I would like to ask you a question. Who would you be if you stripped away all the labels, the apps, and the challenges? Would you still be a reader? And more importantly, how would you read? Like, would you still read books that appeal to you? Would you read slower? Would you read messier? Would you not log your books? Would you not finish the books? So, yeah, like, think about it. I am still a reader. I still call myself a reader, but I'm trying to redefine what it means to me. It's not about the numbers, it's not about the challenges, it's not about the pretty covers and the book hauls. It's more about the story. It's more about my enjoyment, my satisfaction, what I gain from the stories instead of what people are telling me I should be gaining from the stories. So that's it for today. I hope I gave you some food for thought. And please let me know down in the comment what being a reader means to you, what it used to mean, and what it means now in this modern world. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.